So the Colts have fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys. And Caitlin Clark, grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do it because I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like,
Sophie Cunningham just dropped a bombshell interview that lit a match under the entire WNBA, and while she took aim at the league's highest office, her most revealing comments were about Caitlin Clark. What started as a casual chat quickly spiraled into a raw confession, exposing the frustrations, burnout, and quiet rebellions happening just beneath the surface of the league. This wasn't just another athlete interview, this was a declaration of war on the league's carefully constructed image. Sophie didn't just stir the pot, she kicked it over and walked away smiling.
Are you watching the finals?
I guess watched, no. Hell no. I haven't watched a lick of the WNBA. I don't know what's going on. I talked to my teammates like the day that we did exit interviews and all of that, and I haven't. I need a cleanse. Like, I'm booking vacations. Wes, we need to go on a vacation and do a podcast.
For years, Sophie Cunningham has cultivated a reputation as the league's most unfiltered truth teller. She's the player who says what everyone else is thinking, but is too afraid to voice, whether it's about abysmal travel schedules, questionable officiating, or the league's often tone-deaf marketing. But her latest appearance felt different, heavier. It wasn't just a spontaneous rant, it was a calculated reveal of the league's biggest pressure points, and it all started with a simple cup of coffee and a complete lack of a filter.
I can win and roam it. Like, I can be like, I'm here. They brought, like, I'll like put this shit on. Her not doing that is so incredible. I hope she knows how awesome that was.
You sent it yesterday, and I was like I'm not surprised by it. I'm not, because you know what? Everyone's always trying to get her to like wear something or do something, and
appearing on the Show Me Something podcast in her home state of Missouri, Sophie was completely and utterly unguarded, lounging comfortably, sipping from a mug. She spoke as if no one was listening, which is precisely why everyone leaned in closer. There was no PR team whispering in her ear, no carefully prepared answers, just her, a microphone, and a simmering frustration with the state of the WNBA. And in between stories about her family, horses, and farm life, she casually dismantled every major headline, starting with the league's golden goose, Caitlin Clark. The conversation eventually turned to a seemingly innocent PR event where the Indiana Fever were invited to an Indianapolis Colts game. The plan was simple: get the city's two biggest sports teams together for a photo op. Every Fever player was handed a Colts jersey to wear, a standard move designed to show city unity and create easy social media content. But Caitlin Clark, a diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan from her Iowa roots, politely refused. She simply held the jersey up for the photos, never once putting it on. It was a silent, subtle protest that sent a clear message, and Sophie Cunningham was paying very close attention.
So the Colts have fever players out. Sophie was not there, but they give everyone jerseys. And Caitlin Clark, grew up in Iowa, is a Chiefs fan, refused to wear the Colts jersey. She just held it up like this. And she hasn't gone out and said, like, I didn't do it because I'm a Chiefs fan, but the internet was like, she's a real one.
I love it.
And it's just like, it's so good.
While the internet erupted, with fans praising Caitlin for staying loyal to her team, Sophie saw something far deeper in that small act of defiance. That was awesome, she declared on the podcast, letting out a genuine laugh. I hope Caitlin knows how cool that was. Sophie, who admitted she got the hell out of there and skipped the event entirely, said she wasn't even surprised by Caitlin's move. To her, it was exactly the kind of unapologetic stance she respected, a quiet rebellion in a league that constantly demands conformity and gratitude. But for Sophie, this moment wasn't just about a football jersey. It represented a powerful rejection of the league's polished, PR-driven machine. In a world where athletes, especially female athletes, are expected to smile, nod, and play along gratefully, Caitlin's simple refusal to wear the jersey was a potent act of authenticity. Sophie called it real and incredible, praising her for not caving to the immense pressure to perform for the cameras. And as the interview continued, it became painfully clear why Sophie connected with that moment so deeply. While Sophie was busy applauding Caitlyn's quiet rebellion, she was simultaneously gearing up to talk about her own much louder one. The conversation inevitably shifted to her infamous public clash with the WNBA's front office, the one that got her slapped with a hefty fine for speaking her mind in the most profane way possible about the league's leadership. Remember when she went on an unfiltered tirade earlier in the season, claiming the league's top brass don't know anything about basketball and cussed them out over chaotic travel issues and player safety? The league office moved swiftly to punish her, hoping to silence the dissent, but fans were left wondering if she regretted her costly outburst. In this interview, she finally gave her answer, and it was pure, uncut Sophie Cunningham. She made it devastatingly clear that she wasn't taking a single word back. "I'm not going back on what I said," she explained with a shrug, "but maybe how I said it could have been better." It was a classic non-apology, admitting only that her profane delivery might have been a little harsh, before adding with a smirk, "But it's also just me." She bluntly stated she meant every single word, reinforcing her image as a player who would rather pay a fine than bite her tongue. But Sophie also revealed a fascinating layer of self-awareness about her public persona. She admitted that her unfiltered, curse-laden style often works against her, allowing her critics to dismiss her valid points. "When I cuss, people think I'm uneducated," she confessed, "but I do know what I'm talking about. I just cuss." This wasn't an excuse, it was an explanation. She knows she's passionate and that her passion can be misinterpreted as ignorance, a stereotype she's clearly grown tired of fighting. Then, just as the audience was processing her unapologetic stance, Sophie dropped a confession that left fans absolutely stunned. When asked if she was keeping up with the WNBA Finals, the pinnacle of the sport, she didn't hesitate for a second. "Hell no," she shot back, dismissively. "I haven't watched a lick of the WNBA." She wasn't being petty or disrespectful. Her reasoning exposed a dark, hidden reality of the league that players rarely, if ever, discuss publicly. She calmly explained that she was on a WNBA cleanse, a self-imposed exile from the sport to protect her own sanity. After battling through a season filled with brutal injuries, non-stop media drama, and crushing losses, she was emotionally and physically burned out. "You can't watch others live your dream right after it ends," she admitted, giving a rare, vulnerable look into the profound mental toll a season takes on professional athletes. It wasn't bitterness, it was self-preservation. Sophie's admission of burnout isn't just a personal story, it's an indictment of the grueling reality many WNBA players face. The regular season is a relentless grind, but for many, the work doesn't stop there. Due to salaries that are dwarfed by their male counterparts, a significant portion of the league's players spend their off-season playing for teams overseas just to make a living wage. This creates a year-round cycle of high-stakes competition, with virtually no time for physical or mental recovery. Sophie's exhaustion is a symptom of a systemic problem. Her candor about needing a cleanse shines a revealing and concerning light on the immense pressure someone like Caitlin Clark must be under. While Sophie is experienced enough to know when to step away and unplug, Caitlin has been trapped in a non-stop high-intensity media storm since her college season ended. Sophie's need for a break strongly suggests the league's biggest star might be facing a level of mental and physical exhaustion that no one is willing to talk about, for fear of disrupting the money train. But Sophie sees her role in the league as more than just a player putting up stats. She revealed that she feels a heavy responsibility to be the voice for those who can't afford to speak up. "I represent a lot of people who don't say stuff," she said with a serious tone, acknowledging that many younger players or those on less secure contracts can't risk fines or losing sponsorships by speaking out. It reframes her loudmouth reputation in a new light, not as a troublemaker, but as a reluctant shield for her peers. Her comments don't exist in a vacuum. They feel like the tip of a much larger, more dangerous iceberg. When a veteran player like Sophie speaks with such raw frustration, it's not just a one-off complaint. It signals a widespread, simmering discontent bubbling just beneath the league's surface. Her words give voice to the whispers in the locker rooms and the frustrated texts between players who feel unheard and undervalued by the very organization they are building. And just to make sure her message was crystal clear and impossible to ignore, she dropped the bomb one more time. When the topic of WNBA leadership came up again, she didn't soften her stance or walk it back. She doubled down on her most explosive and damaging accusation. She insisted that while they may be savvy business people, the executives making the most critical decisions for the players simply do not understand the game of basketball. Sophie's raw honesty is a direct assault on the WNBA's carefully managed public image. The league, like any major sports entity, operates a sophisticated PR machine designed to present a unified, positive front. Players are coached on media talking points, controversies are quickly sanitized, and the narrative is always one of gratitude and progress. Sophie shatters that script. She is the glitch in their matrix, a human element they can't control, which makes her both a threat to the establishment and a hero to the fans. Then, just when the tension in the interview was at its absolute peak, it took a bizarre and hilariously jarring turn. Sophie completely switched gears and started talking about peacoats. With zero transition, she declared she was tired of her sweatshirt fits and was planning a full-scale wardrobe upgrade for the off-season, proving that nobody can control a narrative quite like her. She laughed about her new goal to look more feminine and bougie, laying out her plans for a Christmas trip to New York City where she would debut her new, more sophisticated look. This sudden comical pivot from calling out powerful league executives to planning her holiday outfits is exactly why fans are so intensely drawn to her. It's a powerful reminder that behind the fierce, unapologetic competitor is a real person who just wants to enjoy her life. Her rebellious, headstrong nature even extends to her own physical health. She gleefully told a story about her recent knee injury, admitting she ditched her leg cast weeks early without her doctor's permission, simply yes. In her own words, she's not patient. When her doctor finally saw her, he was shocked to find she was healing far ahead of schedule. Sophie's classic reaction, say less. Unsurprisingly, the interview caused a tsunami online. Social media platforms exploded with clips, quotes, and reactions. Fans overwhelmingly sided with Sophie, praising her for her brutal honesty. Phrases like "Sophie is the realest in the league," and "she's saying what every player is thinking" flooded comment sections. For countless fans who felt the league was becoming too corporate, Sophie's words were a validating roar of truth. As the interview finally wound down, the host asked the one big question left hanging in the air. Did she have any regrets about being so blunt, so confrontational with the league, knowing the potential consequences? Sophie took a long, deliberate pause before answering with a chilling finality that seemed to echo through the studio. "No," she said firmly. "I'm proud of speaking up. Someone has to." Ultimately, this landmark interview revealed that Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark are two sides of the same rebellious coin in the WNBA. Caitlin pushes back against the machine with quiet, unshakable confidence, while Sophie uses a megaphone and a middle finger. Both, however, are fighting the exact same battle, the freedom to be authentic in a league that often seems to demand conformity at all costs. In the end, Sophie's interview was far more than just a collection of juicy sound bites or locker room gossip. It was a crack in the WNBA's carefully polished facade, exposing the burnout, frustration, and deep-seated defiance simmering behind the scenes. She didn't just give an interview, she sent a warning shot across the bow of the league's front office. And it leaves everyone asking one unsettling question. If this is what one player is willing to say publicly, what other explosive truths is everyone else keeping silent?